I never thought my routine coffee run would turn into a front row seat to one of the most bizarre and unsettling incidents I've ever witnessed. It all started when Officer Karen arrested a deaf man because he thinks he's spying on him. Here's how it all went down. It was a typical Tuesday morning and I was sitting at my usual spot in the corner of Java Jive, a cozy little cafe in the heart of the city. That's when she walked in. Officer Karen. Everyone in the neighborhood knew her. She had a reputation for being overzealous and, frankly, a bit of a nuisance. Her uniform seemed to amplify her already imposing personality. Today she looked more on edge than usual, her eyes scanning the cafe like a hawk. I sipped my coffee, trying not to pay her any mind, but it was hard not to notice her. Karen had a way of making her presence felt, and not in a good way. She ordered her coffee black, no sugar, and stood rigidly by the counter, her eyes darting around. Then he walked in, a regular like me, but I never knew his name. He was always quiet, kept to himself, reading or working on his laptop. What made him stand out was his hearing aid, a sleek piece of technology that he often fiddled with. Today he was doing just that, adjusting his hearing aid, when Karen's eyes locked onto him. I could almost hear the gears turning in her head. She marched over to him, her face set in a grim line. "Excuse me, sir," she barked, startling him. "What is that device you're fiddling with?" He looked up, confused. "I'm sorry, I can't hear you well. This is my hearing aid," he explained, his voice calm but perplexed. Karen, however, wasn't buying it. "A hearing aid? Looks more like a recording device to me. Are you spying on me? On this cafe?" The man's confusion deepened. "No, officer, I'm deaf. This helps me hear." But Karen was relentless. "I need to check that device. You could be recording confidential information." The cafe had gone silent, all eyes on the unfolding drama. The man tried to protest, but Karen was having none of it. She grabbed his arm, twisting it behind his back. The man winced in pain, his face a mask of shock and fear. "Karen, stop! He's telling the truth!" I found myself shouting, my voice echoing in the stunned silence. But Karen was like a dog with a bone. "Stay out of this! This is official police business!" She handcuffed the man, ignoring his pleas and the growing murmurs of protest from the other customers. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This was wrong on so many levels. "Karen, you're making a mistake!" I yelled, standing up. "He's deaf! That's a hearing aid!" But she dragged the man out of the cafe, his face etched with humiliation and pain. The door swung shut behind them, leaving a heavy silence in their wake. I couldn't just sit there. I followed them out, my heart pounding in my chest. Outside, Karen was shoving the man into the back of her patrol car. "Karen, listen to me! You can't do this!" I pleaded, my voice desperate. "He's a threat," she snapped, not even looking at me. "I'm taking him in for questioning." "But he's deaf! He's not a spy!" Karen slammed the car door shut, drowning out my protests. She got into the driver's seat, her face set in a mask of determination. I stood there, feeling helpless and angry as she drove off. The image of the man's frightened face haunted me. I knew I had to do something. I pulled out my phone and started recording a video, narrating the entire incident. I posted it online, hoping it would get some attention. It did more than that. It went viral. The backlash was immediate and fierce. The video sparked outrage, calls for Karen's suspension, and debates about police conduct. The local news picked up the story, and soon, it was everywhere. The police department had no choice but to act. Karen was suspended pending an investigation. The man was released, his name cleared, but the damage was done. His story, a harrowing tale of misunderstanding and abuse of power, made headlines. In the end, Karen was forced to resign. The incident left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth. It was a stark reminder of how quickly things could go wrong, how power could be misused, and how important it was to speak up against injustice. As for me, I couldn't shake off the feeling of disgust and anger. Karen's actions were repulsive, a violation of everything the badge stood for. It was a lesson I'd never forget, the importance of standing up for what's right, no matter how small your voice may seem. Officer Karen really crossed the line here. It's heartbreaking to see someone's life turned upside down because of a misunderstanding. Kudos to the person who recorded and shared this video. I never thought I would go under the knife just to get engaged, but love can make us do crazy things. From ultimatums to a surgical transformation, I thought it would be the beginning of a happily ever after. Little did I know, it was only the prelude to a chilling revelation. Here's how it all went down. I've been engaged to my fiancé for 6 months now, and we're getting married next spring. Our relationship has not been easy, and we dated for 2 years before getting engaged, and he broke up with me once in between for 5 months. Right now, I am so conflicted. There was a time I was so eager to be engaged to him, and now I'm lost. First off, I kind of had to give an ultimatum to get engaged, to which he responded he has not proposed all this time because of something in my looks that he's not attracted to. He asked me to get a specific plastic surgery to correct this issue, and that he would pay for it, and only then he's willing to get engaged. So I went ahead and got the surgery. Anyways, we get engaged, and I can still tell he's not that attracted to me because the surgery didn't really make a big difference. He doesn't compliment me, doesn't really touch me or initiate things with me. He doesn't complain or bash my looks but doesn't rave about it either. It's not just this, but there's more. I'm currently in graduate school while he works full-time and makes over $500,000 per year. He's paying for the wedding and has taunted me twice about how I contribute nothing and have no right to complain because he works so hard to pay for everything. I once complained that we don't spend enough quality time together. I'm unsure if marrying him is a huge mistake. I don't want to be miserable. I feel so anxious. I don't feel loved by him. When he's having a bad day, he pushes me away and doesn't talk to me. I feel neglected in the relationship, but I also don't want to play the victim and consider that maybe he's right about some things. Breaking off an engagement is embarrassing, and this would be his second broken engagement, and I don't want to do that to him. I just feel really lost. How should I approach this? The surgery I had was liposuction on my legs, from thighs to ankles. I've always carried weight in my lower body. He says financially successful men don't like thick women and uses the women of successful men he knows as examples. I believed him and got the surgery, but I'm still trying to lose weight because the liposuction didn't make a huge difference. To those asking about his good qualities, initially I thought he was very kind. He helps the poor and goes on medical mission trips. He's a doctor. He's funny, and we get along really well when things are good. I also love his parents so much, and I feel for them. They are older and want grandkids, and they want to see their son married. I don't think they realize how mean he can be. I'm not going to pretend that his money isn't appealing. I didn't grow up with a lot of money and watched my immigrant parents struggle. I always wanted to ensure that my kids would grow up in a financially stable environment. It's not about gold digging because I'm not materialistic. I don't care for expensive things. I just don't want to struggle like my parents did. For those suggesting a prenup or divorce, our culture and community are very strict. I should have mentioned that we are Middle Eastern, not Muslims. Divorce is not an option in our church. He ended his first engagement, not her. He said she became too obsessed with wedding planning and felt like a different side of her personality emerged after she got the ring. We broke up today, just 48 hours after my initial post where over 1,000 people begged me not to get married. The wedding is now off. Here's what happened. He picked me up because we had our engagement photo shoot scheduled for today. For over a month, he has been depressed due to a real estate lawsuit that he initiated. As a result, he has been neglecting me and giving me zero attention, treating me as an added stressor in his life. I was already fed up with his mopey attitude. He started complaining about not being in the mood for taking pictures, how hard it is for him to smile, and how drained and unhappy he feels about the house. I couldn't take it anymore and exploded. I told him that I've never met such a literal man-child in my life. I pointed out that for him to break down over a lawsuit that he started makes him unfit to be the man and sole provider for a family, someone who can handle real-life troubles. He has never faced any real issues in his life. He is literally a man-child. I also confronted him about never acknowledging how insane it is that I underwent surgery just to be more attractive to him. He never appreciated the care and sacrifices I made for him. I took ownership for allowing this relationship to drag on to the point of engagement, despite him repeatedly showing me how unfit he is to be a life partner. It's my fault for ignoring the red flags and holding on to hope that he would change one day. I even thought that if I had a child with him, he would start to appreciate me more and love me as a mother. I'm grateful that it didn't last long enough for me to find out. We obviously didn't make it to the photo shoot. He ended up driving me back home. Sadly, we wasted the photographer's time. Throughout all of this, his reaction was very minimal. He seemed cold, looking down and appearing sad, but it felt like he was pretending. He apologized and said that he thought I deserved better than him. He claimed that his emotional battery had run out. That was the end of it. I returned the ring to him and told him that we would never speak again. Just goes to show, love shouldn't come at the cost of sacrificing our self-worth. It's important to value ourselves and find someone who loves us for who we are, surgery or no surgery. My seemingly perfect marriage turned into a nightmare when I discovered my husband's affair. Little did I know that this betrayal would lead to a series of shocking events, including a vengeful woman's relentless harassment and threats. As I navigate through the chaos, desperately trying to protect myself and my baby, I never could have imagined the dark twists and turns that awaited me. Here's how it all went down. I'm on a throwaway because I still haven't fully decided on divorce, but I'm 95% sure on it. Me, female 26, and my husband, male 25, have been married for almost 2 years and have a 6-month-old baby. I work part-time only to supplement our income and to pay for the legal process of getting him documented. We are very fortunate that it seems it may be an easy process of maybe 2 years maximum for his residency, but now I'm going to cancel everything and ask for a divorce. My routine used to be waking up 1.5 hours before him in the morning and making his lunch, packing everything for him for work, and having his breakfast coffee and clothes ready for him to wake up, eat, get dressed, and head out within 30 minutes. He used to be satisfied with what I packed for him, such as freshly made chicken in either honey buffalo, lemon pepper, salad, or some sort of chicken wraps, etc. It was pure healthy food. I did this because I wanted to make his life easier and show him I cared and loved him, and I've been doing this since we first moved in together more than 3 years ago. Recently, I've had to start including dinner leftovers because he started asking for more food, claiming that he was still hungry afterwards. I thought it was odd because no matter if I work or not, he always comes home to prepared food, so even if he wasn't full, he would be okay. But I explained it off as maybe he's bulking or something. So I started including what I normally take to work, which has caused me to either go without lunch and having to wait until after work or be late for work, because I have to wait until the food is ready and take some because I'm breastfeeding and can't miss eating every time. I'll leave food going, such as in a crock pot or low heat, depending on how long after I leave he gets home. Well, last week when I was packing his lunch, I found an unrecognized second fork in his lunchbox and was thrown off. So I asked, and he said he found it in the kitchen of his work and brought it home. Odd. Why didn't he just leave it? I had noticed small changes in him that I gaslighted myself into thinking I'm being insecure because I just had a baby, but this made the pit of my stomach churn. So a few days later, I decided to go to his work during lunch to surprise him with dessert and for him to see the baby. Well, that was when I found out why he wanted more food. His coworker he told me no longer worked there, who I'd caught him talking too friendly to, and I told him it bothered me, and I had him removed from everything and block on WhatsApp. Not only still worked there, but was eating the lunch I freshly prepared for him, and he was eating the leftovers. I didn't cause a scene, instead took pictures and added them to my folder of everything he's done before, from simply liking other girls' stories after telling me he didn't, to adult content pictures of a coworker from a previous job he got fired from because of her. I drove home crying, packed my things, and when I got home I took the bassinet and anything I'd need for the baby and my essentials, and went to my sisters and brother-in-laws, and told them everything, and even showed him our conversations from WhatsApp where he told me she no longer worked there. I normally text him throughout the day, so he started texting me and calling me to see if I was okay and what was for dinner. He was almost off. Is everything okay? And then he got to the house an hour earlier than usual, which also has me questioning if he's been lying about what time he gets off too, and saw mine and the baby's things gone. And my letter that he had 7 days to leave my house. My mom gave it to me when I was 20. And that he can communicate with my mother to see the baby when I'm at work or whenever he wants to see her. Just let her know and I'll drop off the baby with her. For the time being, I don't want anything to do with him. And I left the printed photos of them eating lunch and laughing together under the letter. Later that night, when I decided I no longer wanted anything to do with him, I informed the lawyer. We had a group WhatsApp chat with me, him, the lawyer, paralegal, and my brother-in-law that I no longer was going to need his services. And then I messaged the lawyer privately to ask if I could maybe move our contract and the money I've paid so far over to his divorce and family practice. He said unfortunately there's some clause or something that if we decide to no longer pursue the case, we lose the money we've invested, and also that his immigration practice is a partnership with different people than his family one. But he will just leave our case open till we get a response for our next appointment from the government, and if we haven't worked things out by then he will cancel everything. Well, this caused him to go insane, because now if he doesn't get papers, he has to choose between his daughter and parents. To either risk never seeing his parents and family again, or never seeing his daughter again, if he goes over there. He's begging me to the point I blocked him on everything. He's came to my brother-in-law's house and been told to leave or we are calling the police. Then he later came back drunk with his buddies who then were all scared off by my brother-in-law and his shotgun. I feel so lost, broken, and depressed. I also have security at work to make sure he doesn't show up at my office. My sister tells me to leave him but not to divorce so he can never get with anyone else and get papers, but I can't do that to him. I've gone back home, only to check on the house and see if he's gone. I'm still staying with my sister, and surprisingly, there's no damage to anything, and his things only are gone. So at least I feel a little relief in that. I'm not looking for advice. I know I'm not going back. There is no longer any trust. My mental health wouldn't be safe in that relationship. And I know I can't have my daughter grow up with that kind of relationship being an example. I just needed to put this out there in order for it to solidify in my brain and to be able to reflect that this is now a pattern. And he's gone beyond disrespecting me by now, also making me make her food. I've been budgeting, trying to make things last, sometimes eating less than I want to or skipping meals if possible. If a meal was heavier on carbs, I'd skip since I should have enough for my milk supply. All to be able to pay bills, lawyer his gym membership, and supplements. I lose out on rest and sleep because I ensure laundry and the house is kept spotless while the baby sleeps. I've basically gone from an independent, educated career woman to a 1950s housewife with a job and school, all because I blindly fell for this man. When I say I feel stupid, that's an understatement. Anyhow, in summary, my husband had me, his breastfeeding wife, skipping meals, and going out of my way to make him an extra lunch for his side chick at work. And now I have the house, cars, and he's lost his nuclear family and ability to get a green card to be able to stay in the States and/or see his family in Mexico ever again. I guess I'll start with the most asked question, which was if I left him. Yes, I also got a full checkup, and I indeed had an infection I was lucky I could treat and be good without any further issues. This also confirmed his unfaithfulness because, as I mentioned, I had a baby not long ago, and during the whole pregnancy they checked me for everything. And they had done a full panel when I was 3 months postpartum because I got a UTI, and my doctor wanted to ensure it was only that. No, my sister isn't pushing me to stay in a relationship with him. She's telling me not to divorce him so that he can't just go find another woman to marry and use for the green card. No, I'm not taking anything from him that wasn't mine before we got married. Before me, he lived in a house with 7 other men sharing a bedroom with a bunk bed, and he drove a 2000 Buick he had to unplug from the battery in order to use it again. That car got scrapped after the electrical went out. The car he is using is my car I got in high school that got me through high school part-time/seasonal jobs and community college. Also, my mom isn't dead. She gave me my childhood home because I was going to college, and it's a 10-minute commute from the college. She gave it to me because I'm the last of the kids. All my brothers and sisters are at least 10 years older, and aside from my sister who's helping me, they all live in different states. He left home with a motorcycle he was customizing, his gaming systems, clothes, and the guest bedroom TV, which was the only TV that was not mounted. Also, I'm not keeping his daughter from him. I just personally don't want to see him because I know he will try to give me a ton of excuses and try to make me understand him. He can speak to my sister or mom, and they will supervise him to see his daughter whenever he wants to. There is no battle in that. I don't think he's a bad father, but I just don't think my relationship with him is the example I want to give my daughter. Yes, I am Mexican too. My dad came to the States and then later brought my mom and 2 brothers, 2 sisters. It took a decade to see each other again, which is why I'm so apart from my siblings, and I'm the only one born here. To clarify, he never meant to hurt me. He loves his daughter, and me. He enjoyed the attention. It was something new and exciting. It took his mind off the stress of bills, kid, my emotional state, and the general routine his life had gotten boring, and she entertained him. I'm sorry that your wife organized your previously chaotic life. That's about what I believe to be true out of the couple of hours of begging, excuses, gaslighting, and even blaming. The rest was, the infection is a common one that occurs because of contact with cows, and when someone goes outside and urinates without washing their hands or taking proper hygiene precautions. She doesn't dislike men. She was simply comfortable being around them. Seriously, can you believe it? I only gave her lunch that day. It was just one time when she forgot her lunch and she asked me because she noticed that I had 2 lunches he would never stoop so low as to betray his family. Why would I make such assumptions? Oh, so you knew exactly what you were doing. Once I showed him my chart with my results and explained that it's not a normal infection like E. coli that you can get from feces, but an actual transmissible infection. I also explained that I hadn't slept with anyone since we met. My doctor explained that if I had any kind of transmissible diseases, I would have known during my pregnancy. It is common practice to test for all risks, and my doctor tested for various things to find the cause of my high-risk pregnancy and preterm labor. Shortly after, he admitted that he listened to me and saw my doctor's note. I must add that I have the best OBGYN who was amazing in listening to me, allowing me to cry and providing support. She even had a nurse take my daughter out so I could cry. She printed me information and reassured me that a simple medicine would resolve everything and that I shouldn't experience any further issues. Anyway, he is staying at a trailer on the dairy farm that the owner let him borrow. For those who thought she would take him in, it turns out she's engaged and is about to start her wedding preparations and adjust her status, get her papers. Anyways, I'm back to living on my own, and my baby is doing great. I have another office job lined up for January, and I've applied to a few universities. I'm currently attending community college online, but if I get into a university, I think I'll move out of this town. My grandma said she would move with me to help me. Some days are long, like today. It's late at night and I can't sleep because I miss him. But I've been keeping myself busy by getting rid of stuff in my home to start fresh and organize everything. I won't lie and say I'm doing great. On my days off, I don't get out of bed. My house is clean, but my bedroom has an overflowing laundry basket, and I've brought out the guest blankets and pillows to use. People at work have noticed a slowdown in my pace, and I was offered time off, but I declined it. However, now that somehow the rumor of what happened has reached my job, I may consider taking the time off. I woke up to a call from my husband who apologized once again. I'm still not budging, but he told me that he was talking to some guys at work about free clinics or where they go when they're sick. Turns out, that same woman has been sleeping with a few of them from there. I'm not sure if it was around the same time, but one of them told my husband where to get treated for free because he got it from her too. In his apology, which sounded more sincere this time, I believe it's worse because he realized he wasn't special to her, just another one of the guys she slept with. But I say sincere because he didn't make many excuses. Instead, he seemed to hold himself accountable by saying he had won the lottery and messed up. He begged for a second chance because he doesn't know what came over him. He says he hates coming home to an empty trailer and misses seeing our daughter the moment after work. What choked me up was when he said he used to feel more exhausted when he came home to us because the baby would be excited to see him and would cry to be held by him. During the week, I would often leave easy meals made for him so he could eat while I left for work. He started to feel tired of this routine. It was a boring routine of having the same foods during the week and coming home to watch the baby so I could go to work. That solidified to me that I don't ever want to find another relationship, much less go back to him. The routine I worked hard to create for my family was a chore to him. I literally dealt with a fussy, tired child until he got home so she would mostly sleep, and he would only need a single bottle for her, but even that was too hard. He said he would give up the world just to be back into his routine because now he comes home to an empty trailer where there's just a bed and a fold-out table. He hasn't been following his diet because he doesn't have time to prep. He started spending money on lunch because he doesn't have food made for him. He says he misses the baby so much that he now cries when he goes home. I told him I don't know what to tell him about that, but if he wants to see the baby when I go to work, he can go see her at my mom's, who now babysits for me. Knowing my mom, she makes food and she would never deny him food, so he can go over there, eat, and spend time with the baby after work. But I had to go, I couldn't talk anymore. When I tell you all that I've never cried so hard in my life, it's an understatement. It doesn't help that it's raining today. I think I'm calling into work today and tomorrow to talk to my boss about taking those days off. I was planning to log off for a while, but I figured I'd update everyone to let you know that she found my home and started harassing me now. I guess somehow her fiancé found out, and she thinks it was because of me. I feel like things are just going from bad to worse. I had to leave my car in my mom's garage and borrow my nephew's car, which my neighbor let me park in her driveway because she threatened to ruin my car like I ruined her relationship. Which isn't just hypothetical, but also ironic. My husband cheated on me, and the woman he cheated with is now harassing me. Apparently, she was engaged and was about to go from a visa to residency because of her fiancé, but somehow he found out about her relationship with my husband. She believes it was me, but I don't know who her partner is, was, or who told him yet. Since around 4 p.m. today, she has done the following. Punctured a hole in one of my tires. Wrote home wrecker on my front bay window. Keeps calling me from different numbers. And now I'm starting to receive spam text messages after I blocked all of her numbers and stopped answering random numbers. All of this has happened since this afternoon. I called the police, but by the time they showed up, she was gone. They said I have no proof of what she's doing, so unless they catch her in the act or I have evidence, their hands are tied. My mom and stepdad said they will install cameras in my home, and my mom is keeping my car at her place. They want me to stay with them too, but I don't want to leave my home in case she tries something against it. The most I was able to get is a police officer patrolling the area, meaning they will be close by and randomly pass by. I'm not sure what to do. I don't even know who her partner is, and I'm already dealing with leaving my husband. Now she's harassing me. Well, that escalated quickly. Talk about a roller coaster of emotions and unexpected turns. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs at us. Stay strong and keep your head up through the chaos. Remember, you're not alone in facing these challenges. Take one step at a time and trust that brighter days are on the horizon. My boss's relentless comments about my acne were becoming unbearable. Little did I know, these remarks would set off a chain of events that would lead to a life-changing decision. This is the story of how I stood up for myself and found a new job. Here's how it all went down. I have recently acquired a new supervisor, who is also part of the C-suite, within the last 6 months. She is a highly talented, knowledgeable, and friendly individual, who has provided extensive support and mentorship to me. I am genuinely grateful for her efforts. However, there is one issue with her that I find challenging. her unpredictability, especially when it comes to pointing out things that others may find sensitive. I have been dealing with adult acne, partly due to some health concerns. I am currently working with medical professionals to find solutions and diagnoses, but it takes time to resolve these issues. In the meantime, I occasionally experience breakouts. I do my best to cover them up with makeup, but some days are more challenging than others. On those difficult days, I try to persevere, but it significantly impacts my self-esteem, especially since I'm no longer a teenager and worry about how it may affect my professional image. Now, here's where my unpredictable boss comes into the picture. On multiple occasions, when I have had particularly rough skin days, she has directly asked me in front of other people, "What's going on with your skin?" Even when I provide a vague response about having a bad skin day and assure her that she need not worry about it, she continues to press and badger me about it, often with an audience present. This experience is absolutely mortifying and distressing for me. I assure you, I am fully aware of the state of my face and simply want people to disregard it. This incident happened again today, and it has left me unable to focus on my work because of the emotional turmoil it has caused. Clearly, I need to address this issue with my supervisor, as it is affecting me both emotionally and professionally. I believe that, due to her preference for a friendly and collegial approach, she may perceive these conversations as harmless girl talk, when in reality, they have a much larger impact. However, my main question is how to address it. Should I take immediate action to shut down these discussions in the moment, or should I bring it up during our next one-on-one meeting? It is worth mentioning that my supervisor has a tendency to make insensitive comments about others' appearances as well. I believe that because she does not take such comments personally, she forgets that not everything needs to be said. I want to communicate directly that discussions about my skin or physical appearance should be limited to what is necessary for my job, but I worry that she may perceive me as being overly sensitive. It has been almost a year since I had a one-on-one conversation with my boss. The advice I received mainly focused on how I handled the situation. I told my boss, "Yesterday, you made a comment about my skin, and I need you to stop doing that. It is a medical condition, and I'm working with doctors to address it. I don't want to discuss it, especially in front of others." I had planned to express how I don't want people commenting on my appearance at work and how it emotionally affects me. However, my boss interrupted me and apologized. He said, "I'm sorry, I won't do that anymore. I was just concerned and wondered if I could help. I should probably apologize to other coworker too, since I might have made him uncomfortable." For the record, I don't believe she was genuinely concerned because her comment was harsh and lacked warmth or genuine concern. She also didn't pick up on social cues to drop the topic. Her concern for the other coworker present was a red flag. However, in the long run, I don't think I have the power to determine what lesson my boss learned from this, even though I wanted her to understand the impact of her actions. Nevertheless, some positive things came out of this experience. Firstly, my former boss never commented on my skin again. In fact, I now have a new boss because I started a new position about 7 months ago. This incident, along with other work-related events, led me to the decision to move on. During my job search, I found the perfect role with a wonderful company who eventually hired me. I received a significant pay increase of about 66% and have had a smooth transition into my new role. Overall, things are going really well for me. My acne is still present, but it has improved, and no one at my new job has mentioned it. I now feel more confident in making people uncomfortable for making me feel uncomfortable. Some of you speculated that my former boss might be involved in a multi-level marketing MLM scheme and wanted to sell me skincare products. While that scenario is plausible, the truth is that my former boss comes from a wealthy background and works simply because she enjoys it. Lastly, to those who have shared similar struggles, I appreciate your support and wish you all the best. By standing up for myself and finding a new job, I've learned the importance of prioritizing my well-being and surrounding myself with supportive and respectful colleagues. Here's to a brighter future and smoother skin days ahead. We met years ago and got married, but recently, my wife's behavior has changed, and she seems happier when she's with her friend. Little did I know that their friendship hid a secret from the past. Here's how it all went down. I have been married to my wife for 7 years. We met 8 years ago at a church meeting where we became friends. My wife is a quiet, kind, and beautiful woman. She is someone anyone would dream of being with. I instantly fell for her, even though she seemed shy. However, she rarely showed affection, and I always believed it was due to her traditional religious upbringing. At times, she appears emotionless, lost in thought. But everything changed when her high school friend returned to town 2 months ago. She became vibrant and full of life. Seeing her so happy with her friend made me feel jealous, especially after discovering old photos of them together, looking like a couple. My wife's family holds negative views towards gay people, and it turns out she and her friend were secretly a couple during high school. They were separated by her parents, and her friend moved away. Despite this, my wife insists their relationship was never physical. Confronting her about the photos led to her admitting the truth. She still loves her friend and sees me only as a best friend. It was painful to hear her refer to her friend as mi amor, my love, something she had never called me. I left the house and decided that I don't want to be in a loveless marriage. I told her we're getting a divorce, and she pleaded with me not to end our relationship. But I realized that even though she doesn't love me, the fact that I don't love her doesn't change anything either. I explained the concept of emotional cheating, but she didn't deny her feelings for her friend. We're proceeding with the divorce, and I assured her that I won't reveal her sexuality unless asked directly. The house and land are mine, but she can stay until December. I plan to go no contact with her after the divorce. I've been seeing a psychologist, and it has helped me manage my emotions. We are both broken individuals who have suffered from religious trauma. I stayed with her because I saw bits of myself in her and felt a sense of duty. For now, I'm focusing on finalizing the divorce and spending time with my family. I feel numb and strange, but I'm ready to move on from a relationship that lacked love and betrayed my trust. Just goes to show that love and relationships can be complicated and unpredictable. Wishing everyone involved the best as they navigate their own paths forward. If you enjoyed today's stories, check out the other videos on your screen now. Submit your own stories at you'rethejerk.com. Subscribe now or you're definitely the jerk.